Ladies and gentlemen, we are showing you some feeds shot by citizens just about an hour and a half ago. Thousands of people, it was about 500, now it's being reported, thousands have descended on 10 Downing Street and surrounding areas. People have climbed the walls, the gates at 10 Downing Street. There have been clashes with the police, and there is almost zero coverage of this from the UK news because there's been an order, a D-notice, an unconstitutional authoritarian system they have, that there be no reporting on Muslim rape gang, Muslim grooming gang trials happening. And Tommy Robinson, who first reported on these 11 years ago, was arrested for not even reporting on it, but simply pointing out that the trial was ongoing and not in the news. He was arrested yesterday. It's been one of the #1 trending stories on the web, despite the fact that the UK government, the US government, through Google, Facebook, and Twitter that Trump doesn't control yet, have been shadow banning being able to tweet or YouTube about it. Here's an incredible example before I break down what's happening, because this could be a new revolution breaking out like V for Vendetta, but in the real world in the UK, because he was arrested. He's facing 13 months in jail because he already had a suspended sentence for covering another rape gang trial last year. He served just 3 months. So he disappeared yesterday morning and was not then ever heard from. And other people that were associated with him, that work with him, have been told if they talk to the press, they will be arrested. There is a D-notice, not on the rape gangs and the child molestation mass hearings now. That's there as well. But on reporting on Tommy Robinson. You heard me right. And we are all Tommy Robinson now, just like we were all Spartacus. You let him be secretly arrested and disappeared. Anybody can be. Totally peaceful, totally nice, loaded into a police paddy wagon, disappeared, ladies and gentlemen, and then they issued a D-notice. When I went to bed last night, I could barely sleep, and I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning because the D-notice had gone out, and I saw the first reports and saw articles in BBC, Sky News, you name it, about Tommy Robinson being arrested for covering the rape gang trial. And they said by extension, well, you can't report on him being arrested for covering it. And so I saw hundreds of news reports disappeared, and the government then admitted it was a D-notice through their lapdog, the London Independent, and through Metro. They have been the only ones allowed to report. D-notices are selectively sent out, not just a general notice, but sent out saying what not to cover. And ladies and gentlemen, it's what they're doing to shut down all free speech in the UK. Look at this article. Even the lapdog Metro had the headline earlier. Document cam shot, please. Tommy Robinson supporters climb gates of Downing Street after his arrest. Okay? This was at 7:12 p.m. UK time, about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago. The very same article, one of the only ones allowed to report on it, talk about communist China, 1 hour later changed to this and is the only story available on Google. Same reporter, same article, just different headline. Tommy Robinson supporter empties can of Stella on top of Downing Street gates, and then they edited the article to take out what happened. Unbelievable. Instead of the archetypal symbol of Ceausescu in Romania and people climbing the gates or climbing the Berlin Wall, no. Or V for Vendetta from fiction. They then turn it into, a can of Stella. They're just drunk hooligans. They're just Brits. Can't listen to them. Their new Islamic masters are here. So again, here's the article that only exists now because I saved it and printed it. That's why I always print everything. People ask why there's stacks of news every day on my desk. And, I've been asked by Comedy Central, is that like a prop to look like you're smart? No, we print everything because you guys change headlines and then edit things and never admit it. Like the old Soviet Union. Tommy Robinson supporters climb gates of Downing Street after his arrest, turns into this, the same writer, Joel Roberts, look at the alchemy, to this. And it even has the same timestamp. In the old days, if you change something, you'd say update or correction. Not in the new memory hole. You're not going to pay attention, are you? So here's the big takeaway. Tommy Robinson, 11 years ago, owned a tanning salon in the first big town where they've had convictions for thousands of young girls being groomed, picked up, put into prostitution, CPS if the parents fought back, coming with the police and taking the children to put them into sex slavery. This is now mainstream news. Tommy Robinson first exposed that, so he's being persecuted, just like InfoWars is being persecuted for telling you the truth about so many issues and targeted and attacked. In fact, usually they'll have articles in the UK attacking Tommy Robinson in with me at the same time because we're reporting stuff they don't want to have a discussion about. Now, as the rape gangs are discovered in every major city, with the police departments and the government working with it, with the Muslims supplying children to the UK pedophile rings, which are famous and lead all the way up to the top of the royal family, they're having the trials, but only to then say they're having a judicial D-notice saying no discussion of the trial. Well, that means inside the trial. We have that here. They're now extending it outside the trial to anyone discussing it in the country. And they have other D-notices dealing with national security. Those have also been issued that no one could report on Tommy Robinson being arrested and disappearing. Ladies and gentlemen, think of the magnitude of that. This is 101 pure authoritarianism right out of communist China, right out of the old Soviet Union, right out of North Korea. This is the bona fide. If this tyranny was a quarterback, it'd be Terry Bradshaw mixed in with Roger Staubach, mixed in with all the other greats. I mean, it's the big daddy of it. When they start arresting people and saying you can't talk about them being arrested, and there are hundreds of news articles in the British press everywhere. I saw the Google number last night. It was in the hundreds. And when I went to bed, I went back to look at them. They were gone. There was the Metro, and there was the Independent and one other, which they admit are lapdogs of the government. So think about that. That's a whole nother scandal of how the web censorship is working. And then right as I'm telling Marcos Morales, who came on the weekend, missing his wife and daughters to do this, he said, "Oh, look, boss, the same article has now been changed." In fact, we're seeing D-notices in live time. This morning, there were only 3 articles up. Then about 15 popped up. Those all disappeared. Breitbart London admits they were ordered to take down their articles. The BBC admits it. Russia Today says they were ordered to take down coverage that Tommy Robinson was arrested for, quote, covering the Muslim grooming gang, the pedophile gang trial, one of hundreds that have happened that they've covered up. The Pope is in a secret pedophile trial, or the Pope's deputy in Australia right now. Google is suppressing it. The crew is in there looking at it in live time. As articles pop up in Google, they're working with the British to delist them. So they've gone total rogue. The president's son is being censored, sending out photos of his daughter and their puppy dog on Instagram. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the news. This is how revolutions begin. You have an illegitimate government. Theresa May is in bed with the leftists and the globalists, and Sadiq Khan and the Islamic invasion. They admit to take over Europe. They want to use Muslims because they vote as a bloc. So if you get 10% Muslims, they'll vote as a bloc and put the other political parties into power. This is the admitted plan by the EU. They have been censoring and bullying all of Europe. They have been censoring the UK. They have been persecuting people like Tommy Robinson. They have been persecuting us here in the U.S. as well. And thousands of people show up and go and protest it. And a few articles pop up. They disappear. Come back with new headlines edited about a guy dumping a can of beer because the archetype is so powerful. But here's the thing. We still have some freedom. The crackdown is only beginning here. They've already beta tested it in China, beta tested it in Sweden, Germany. It's now here. They have legalized in 2 Supreme Courts in Europe, 2 different Supreme Courts, that Muslim men can have sex with your 10-year-old daughter forcibly, and it's not rape. They are using them to set the precedent. Just like the Boy Scouts of America said, we're going to give condoms to 11-year-olds and let them have sex. This is... Yeah, there it is, main line. The Supreme Court denies appeal in sexual abuse case of 10-year-old. Goes on to say that that's Finland, says that is Islam. They're allowed to. They're special under political correctness. They're more protected. God help us. This is unbelievable. Tommy Robinson, I've talked to some of his crew. They've been told they'll be arrested if they talk about his arrest. They are facing, like he did, 3 months the first time. They suspended part of the sentence, 13 months. That's why he's already gone. And they want you to not know about him. 13 months, they want him gone. This is like China and the dissidents you hear about that just disappear. This is incredible. Tommy Robinson is still in jail for covering Muslim pedophile grooming trial. Incredible UK trying to censor news of the trial of accused Muslim child rape gang. Then we have our articles on Infowars.com that have screenshots of all the newspapers saying we were given D notices. A lot of them don't even tell you. They just take it down, including U.S. publication Breitbart, because they've been threatened and they operate in the UK. Media blackout. British government scrubs reports of Tommy Robinson arrest. Britain has gone full 1984. Infowars.com. You're not allowed to tweet Infowars links on Twitter. They put them into suspended animation. They shadow ban them even if they go through. Newswars.com is not being blocked at this time. All the articles are there. Newswars.com. Please tweet those out and this live feed on YouTube, Facebook. I mean, everybody should be so upset. I could just absolutely see where this is going. This is so obvious. But humanity's starting to fight back. That's so exciting. Meanwhile, Trump Jr. upset with Instagram, warning when you're searching his name, saying it may make you commit suicide or be criminal. Pictures of his dog and his daughter and mountain climbing. They don't want to humanize anybody. They want to take our speech. They can take the president's sons and shadow ban Trump on Twitter, where his people don't get his push notifications. They can do anything. But what did they do the first day it came out? They denied it and said he was lying. That's psych warfare. First deny that he shot a video proving it, and they went, of course we are. Unbelievable. Can you imagine being the lapdogs at the Independent that attack us all the time with lies, or the lapdogs at the Metro? They get to report, but nobody else does in the UK. But even those lapdogs don't get it right. Tommy Robinson supporters climb gates of Downing Street after his arrest. An hour and a half later, document cam shot for TV viewers, please. Just like the old Soviet Union would change headlines later. Just like the old Soviet Union would do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, zoom in on that. The document cam's right in this area, so we're going to shoot. Tommy Robinson supporters climb gates of Downing Street after his arrest. And then, hour and a half later, same writer, same article. Voila! And for people that are interested online, let me go ahead and give you a document cam shot of what the original article said. And then we'll let you see what the other parts they edited, because this will only be available here. It's all been memory hold now. Oh, look. Okay, show that. Show you that. Show what people said. And the first thing was a whitewash, too, to belittle people that dare stand up to people being disappeared. But then you get back into it, and it's all been disappeared. It's all been removed. All been manipulated. Like, you're an idiot and aren't paying attention. You little serf. You little peasant. You little moron. So that's just a microcosm, but that's a side issue. Only a few publications are allowed to report on a citizen journalist who heroically exposed child kidnapping rings that have been confirmed all over the country, with the government and the police involved with the Muslims, doing it all in a conspiracy against humanity. He has been arrested and disappeared for daring to go to the court and stand out in the street and simply say there is a trial here going on about this, which talks nothing of the trial. And then they denotice the whole thing, and thousands show up spontaneously 24 hours later to protest it, climb the gates. The police try to bash them down. They run over them. The police back down smartly, because just like V for Vendetta, that's based on Ceausescu in Romania. In other cases, the Brits aren't actually scared. They've been in a trance. Once you start attacking them, they would have fought back, like Hitler bombing England. He thought that would intimidate him. That made him go from being anti-war to pro-war. And it's the same thing. They're just going to push and push while they think you're asleep, while they bring up their socialist numbers, their Antifa numbers, their Islamic numbers, while they let Antifa beat people up. But Tommy Robinson has disappeared. Tommy Robinson is now in a nameless prison. Tommy Robinson is now a political prisoner. And folks, I sent Tommy Robinson a few months ago $20,000. He didn't even have the money for decent cameras or basically, like police cam stuff where you can clip it on and record it. I said, hey, I'm giving this money, get a bunch of that. And he has. So you go to TommyRobinsonOnline.com while you still can and donate. But I'm going to tell you this. What's the mothership that's been funding all these other people and sending money to Veritas has sending money to the groups investigating pedophiles here in the U.S. And yes, I'll say it. That's why Hollywood's after me so bad. They know. Financing legal and lawful stuff, investigating some of the heavyweights. And we've gotten fruits, with former military, current folks, other people, just getting their expenses paid, being on target with these Hollywood folks and these folks in New York. That's why they're after me so bad right now. They're really pissed because we got operations going against the pedophile rings. We're getting major victory there. We're expanding operations in the face of the enemy because, of course, we had reserves knowing this attack was coming. But I don't want to expend all our reserves so they get us in a bad position. But even my destruction, like they're seeing with Tommy Robinson, who they already tried to kill in prison several times when he was in jail for a year for exposing the child kidnapping rings. He was jailed for that as a hate crime, saying the Muslims were doing this. It's all been confirmed. So there's a witch hunt out for anybody telling the truth, anybody taking action. So this is a big, big deal. But now they've jumped the shark, going even further. And they now have people, let's roll some of that footage from the beginning again, of the thousands that were already gathered, thousands more to show up. You read the few mainstream headlines, it's, a few hundred right-wingers showed up. It was old people, it was young people, it was women, it was school teachers, it was soldiers, it was old folks, it was black people, white people. They were all there standing up for it, saying no to the UK implementing Chinese communist-style disappearances of people. Let's mention some of the better channels here. You guys can get on the mic if you want to, because this is a new studio. I don't have a monitor big enough to read the fine print, so we can plug some of these channels. We found some of the best Twitters where you can find these. But this is all just a symbolic act of defiance that if hundreds of people try to go over that fence and the soldiers shoot them, the entire globalist UK government and its attempt to hold on to Brexit will implode, will be over, will be gone. Marcos Morales, you want to comment? I know, and we got a great crew. This studio's not even supposed to be open yet. Let me just do this, too. Can we roll one of the ending scenes of V for Vendetta? I want to cue that up, because this studio's been getting built for a few months. It's not even done yet. And Friday, they said, hey, you want to test it out? Did our maiden show here yesterday with the 30-year-old guy who's never had a job or had one job, but his parents evicted him. We had him here, try to help him out, try to get him a job. Looks like we're able to do that and, try to give him some love, because he's nothing compared to people that make us pay for sex changes or their nose jobs or, all this other anchor babies or whatever. If you're going to judge this guy, judge them too. That's all I'm saying. We did our maiden show in here yesterday, but now I've got the crew that doesn't normally run the studio. They're in here right now, but history is happening. I knew it this morning at 10 a.m. I called Marcos Morales and Joe Jennings, to my good buddies, been here, both of them, 6-7 years. And I said, I need you to get your butt down here in the next couple hours. I think this is going to blow up big. I think this is going to really get big, because they are now denoticing a reporter being secretly arrested, and they're removing articles in the news under UK government orders not to say a reporter was arrested for reporting on a giant organized pedophile ring hearing and trial. I mean, how sensational is that? That's a crazier plot than V for Vendetta, and it's happening. I remember learning about Tommy Robinson 11 years ago, and I thought it sounded crazy that Muslims are running organized roundup gangs with the police in certain areas and the government. They were selling them as sex slaves. And then years later, it all came true. I was already believed in Tommy and knew he was telling the truth about 5 years ago, once I figured out he was accurate, before it was all confirmed. It's all confirmed. So this man, proven he's right, must be destroyed. And I can't help looking into what he's done to not experience like it's a mirror for me, because we're under attack because we exposed the child kidnapping rings here. We exposed the devil worship. We exposed the Bohemian Grove. We exposed the New World Order. We exposed what the globalists are doing. We exposed their whole plans, their operations, what they're doing, the 5G, the Islamic invasion, all of it. We're going to play this with audio in just a moment if we can. And so I understand what it's like to be there and have them targeting your support network, threatening your friends, threatening your family. Tommy has been through that all. He's got children. He's got a wife. He's an amazing guy. But we are all Tommy Robinson right now. But listeners have to understand, Infowars.com, we are you as well. We're the mothership. I'm not a wimp, but But I don't want to let folks know what I'm doing behind the scenes because it gets us even more targeted. And they're going to target me anyways because they got us under surveillance. But they know full well that I was working on launching offices for Tommy and people we could trust that could come in to vet the folks that are coming in to protect him and go next level. And I've been trying to organize it. And that's another reason they're so mad at us. And I'm just telling you, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, we've already changed the world. We're under attack. We're under demonization. They try to make it cool. Well, are they going to make it cool to attack Tommy? No, because he's so sincere and people have seen what he's been through. And this issue is so crystal clear that they can't break him. They can't demonize him. They put out a news article that Tommy and I influenced some nationalists that ran over a couple Muslims in retaliation for all the truck attacks. None of it was true. They put out a fake text message and fake tweet saying that Tommy and I had said that this happened. We're under attack because they understand what we're doing. They know it. They got our phones tapped. And I thought it'd be best to keep it on the down low, some of the stuff we're planning and setting up. And I'm working with Godfrey Bloom. I'm working with other unnamed people in the UK. But the government of the UK is an outside globalist force. There was a rout with the Brexit of internal patriots in the UK trying to get control of their government back. Didn't mean they were perfect, but they wanted to get it back from Juncker and the globalists of the Chicoms that run the EU. It's the EU and the Chicoms aimed at America and aimed at Britain right now and Ireland. God, they're getting the Irish to vote to kill all their babies now. And so we're under attack, and we need you folks out there to realize we believe in you. We believe you see what we're doing. We believe that you understand how dangerous it is. We believe you know history's happening. We believe you have spirit and feel what was already happening today. I knew them secretly arresting him. Wasn't just, it happens on Friday, you talk about it, come back on Sunday. So I work 6 days a week. Sometimes 7 days a week, as you're seeing right now in emergencies. And I can't, and it's not that I'm some hero. Hey, you couldn't keep me out of this place. I want to try to calm down. I can't. I know all the players, all the pieces. I know the facts. The government admits they've been putting him in a prison in general population with Muslims trying to kill him for exposing this. Then they put him in jail last year for exposing it. Now they say they're going to throw the key away because he went and stood in front of a courthouse and said they're having a Muslim pedophile ring hearing in there, and there's a national order. Nobody even tell you a trial's happening. That D notice isn't to protect those guys getting a fair trial. It's to protect the cover-up, because inside there, they're testifying the police and the government and the CPS are using the Muslims to do it. Because in their cultures, from Pakistan and other areas in North Africa where they're coming in, it's normal to pick little girls up and sell them into sex slavery. It's normal to do that to little boys. That's normal. That ain't normal in America. Maybe normal in Hollywood and with the Islamicists. It may be normal with the British royals and all their history of it. The deputy pope is in a secret trial in Australia right now. Trump is striking back. I'm striking back. Eric Prince has been involved exposing this day one. I got that from high-level sources and couldn't believe it. And it was all confirmed later. We are fighting hard. This is real. You want somebody to stand up to pedophiles? We're doing it. But we need to call Congress, call C-SPAN, call Trump Jr. and say, yeah, you're getting censored? Break up these monopolies. This is racketeering. The judge ruled that, Trump can't block people on Twitter that Twitter puts at the top to attack him. But Twitter can just ban people off Twitter like Milo for no reason. This is out of control, and these bullies think they're going to win. They're not going to win. So take this live archive. Keep rolling in front of me, guys. Just footage of what's been going on the last few hours for TV viewers. But let's go to the V for Vendetta clip, because if they would have shot or attacked any of these people today, the police backed down, not because they weren't globalists in order to do this. I'm not saying they're all bad, but their orders are bad. It would have chain reaction because England is ready to go. My family, I'm in England a few years. They were just there last year, my mom and dad, for 3 weeks. They were all over the country with one of our British friends that lives here in Austin. And we'll replace them in just a minute. And they had people bringing up InfoWars and Paul Watson and Tommy Robinson like half the time in cabs. What do you think of the Brexit? What do you think of the fight? What do you think of Nigel Farage? What do you think of Tommy Robinson? What do you think about Alex Jones? Oh, you're from Austin? Alex Jones? We love Alex Jones. We love Paul Watson. And they were black people, and they were white people, and they were old people, and they were young people, because believe me, they know what's going on. They know their speech has been taken. They know they're under attack, and they're on fire. And we just saw them march spontaneously by the thousands down there to say, we're against what you're doing, flying their King George flags proper, which the government demonizes and says it's racist because it's English, so you shouldn't show it. Now they're saying the American flag's racist. Get rid of it. Give me a break. And then they march by the thousands, with more joining them, down to Parliament. And this is the beginning of the second worldwide revolution against the globalists and against the parasites and against the Jacobites and against the modern globalists. It's beginning. I told you I can feel the spirit rising. I can see the results from all over the world, from Africa to Europe to Latin America to the Americas to Australia. Humanity will not be run by a bunch of Jeff Bezoses that want to bring in millions of people and weaponize them against us. So let's go ahead and roll V for Vendetta, which is set in the very same spot, but fiction, where the police stand down and the military stand down because they know they will be completely destroyed along with their masters if they don't. They're going to try to intimidate all these people now, and it's going to blow up in their face just like Hitler thought he'd bomb the Brits and they'd roll over. Upwards of 90% were against the war after World War I. They didn't want to go to war with Hitler. But when Hitler started bombing them and bombing civilian targets, 95% in major polls were for going to war. It's the same thing. You globalists think because you censor us and attack us and lie to us and get in our faces because we have restraint, you take our restraint and our kindness for weakness. We feel sorry for you once we start rolling. But that will soon be no more, because the spirit of liberty is rising. I can feel it, and I'm telling you it's the season. You globalists better bomb some of your own targets and blame it on us. That won't work either. How about you file some more lawsuits? That won't work either. That just lights a fire under our ass to launch all the operations. We were just waiting for the bell to chime. The dinner bell. Ding, 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 ding. Now, fly havoc and let loose the dogs of war. Here is V for Vendetta. So that's a leftist interpretation of that, but a leftist that meant well. And they think that they would actually engineer all that when they are the revolutionaries trying to overthrow the revolutionary idea of the Renaissance. They're counter-revolutionaries.
Eyes and ears of detected movement heading towards...
Yeah, go back to the clip. That's right where I wanted to play it. Thanks.
Enemy contact.
And this is what happened today. A little bit smaller version, but the same thing. And they stood down. But they would never do that before. They had the numbers, the guns to stop them. But they didn't, because they know those people are on the right. They know those people are standing up to organized barbarism and pedophilia from the nightmare nations of Islam collapsing into Europe in a diabolical plan. And they know Tommy Robinson's a hero, and they know he's been right. And a lot of the police and military have stood by, and the judges and the rest of it. All this is going on, and they know what's happening. And they know how diabolical it is. So let's roll some of the real footage from today. And again, you can't find out on Bing or Google or anywhere because it's only a few approved sites. Oh, nothing happened. Nothing's going on. But Infowars.com has our people there in the UK. And we've talked to folks that work with Tommy. He's in jail. They won't come on because they've been told, you're being watched. You'll be put in prison if you talk about his arrest. I've been on the phone. Where is my phone? I've been on the phone with people in the UK that live under such tyranny that they'll street fight Antifa that physically attacks them, but they won't come on the show because they've been told they'll be arrested by the police after Tommy was arrested, and some of them had their phones taken. Does that sound like a free country to you? Does that sound like England, jolly old England? Does that sound like America? That sounds like Hitler, doesn't it? Well, the left always calls everybody Hitler all day, but they're the ones acting like Hitler. But if they'd have mowed down that crowd, you'd have seen 10 million in the streets. So, Tommy Robinson right now is a political prisoner. They won't say where. They've ordered the media not to talk about it. My God, England has fallen. I want to retweet all this at Real Alex Jones. And I want to be able to have it where on the weekend where so much of this happens, we have a crew up here other than Sunday where I've got a skeleton crew. That's why we're trying to go 24 hours a day. We're trying to hire more people. It's very costly. It's very, what's the proper term they use? Ambitious? But I'm not ambitious. We're in the face of censorship. They're trying to take our speech at every front, and I can fight them on every intellectual point all day long. But I don't have the time, the energy, the personnel. I've got to expand in that face. And I can say, I've sent multiple checks to Tommy Robinson, not just the one I mentioned earlier. I can say I'm covertly working with folks that have already had big effect in the UK to really fight the next level, because they're going to try to block Brexit and bring in authoritarianism, so that May saying they're going to wait 7 years to do it. That's only to bring in a police state, more Muslims, and then they're going to totally, it's unbelievable. And so people are getting real serious. That's what people like Godfrey Bloom, military historian, patriot, member of the EU Parliament, previously has said. It's almost time to just storm the government, because it's not the government. It's run by the EU. It's unelected. It's to that point. We got Trump in. He's fighting with the globalists to try to have a legitimate beachhead in our own government. But that's the real discussion happening at the highest levels of patriots in the UK. Successful people, real people, veterans, people that understand this is real. Just like our ancestors fought Hitler, this is the new threat. Bureaucrats, the globalists, the big banks, the media allied with Islam, because there's 1,800,000,000 Muslims, 1.8 billion. So it's a whole information war out there, with them trying to keep you from knowing what even happened today, and that Tommy's even been grabbed. But you notice it's not working. You notice it's not happening. You notice things the way they want aren't going that way. And it wouldn't have ever been a big story if they hadn't put Tommy in jail for a year for exposing giant child kidnapping rings. And the very town he exposed was the first to then convict people and prove it. And it wouldn't have been big if they didn't put him in jail for 3 months last year, and then hadn't grabbed him yesterday. But they can't help it. They've got to push it. They can't stop, because they're foreign globalist powers that have taken the Saudi Arabian and the Turkish money, and they're in there putting the Muslims in all the civil service positions as mayors and as governors and communists as exchequer, and the head of their immigration is now a Muslim from Pakistan. And again, I don't go to Pakistan and say, I'm going to be your head of stuff and bring in 10 million Christians. The Muslims would burn you to the ground. There is the House of Islam. There is the House of War. There is them fighting with each other over their stuff, and then always trying to exploit and take over their neighbor. It's like saying be nice to cancer. Are there some nice Muslims? Yeah. There's some nice cancer cells that don't grow too quick. I wish them luck. But they're taking over, and they're allied with the globalists, and this is the fact, and they're allied with big tech, and they can't believe we're resisting. Here, let's play some of these clips in closing. A string of these for you. A lot of them are up on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. We'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing, 4 to 6 p.m. to cover this. We'll have more live reports of this explodes. But these people are going to be targeted by the authoritarian state in the UK, that its main target's children. It's a pedophile cult. That's why they love Islam. And they're going to now try to target a bunch of these adults. Look at those thousands and thousands of people. You'll never see that on the news. And that's when it started. It got even bigger. Today, about 4 hours ago is when it started. And so they're going to try to now target these folks and intimidate them, and it's going to make them get even more aggressive. And they're not going to have one Tommy Robinson, not one Alex Jones, not one V, not one Donald Trump, but thousands, and then it'll be millions. Moral people have been sleeping, but that's now coming to the end. So we got a bunch of clips we're going to play back to back right offline. And just pray for Tommy Robinson. They've already put him in general population, tortured him, let the Muslims throw bleach on him, all of it. They let him in the room. He ducked most of it, burned him. But this is what they do. And they get all these servants, all these sycophants. I noticed like most of the cops in the UK are like 6'3", 6'4", like to, to kind of just go around and intimidate everybody for the Queen and, their little Saxe-Coburg, Gotha, Transylvanian pedophile ring they got. You're not England. You're not America. You're not anything. You're a bunch of parasites. The old British Lions died out, and then they had King George I come in. When King George II, King George III thought he was invincible, he got his ass handed to him. And the world is going to come out of this, because what you globalists are selling is pure death. Google thinks they've beaten you. Twitter and Facebook think they've beaten you. They think they've beaten us all. They think they've got the demographics. They think they've got the plan. But humanity is awakening, and we're reaching out to everybody that wants the truth. Thanks to Marcos Morales and Joe Jennings for coming in and others today. Hopefully that'll be it for the transmission. I hope they're not dumb enough to shoot some of the demonstrators. But this is historic, and you can feel the energy. And it's in a country that suppressed, stuff like that is very rare. What you saw today, and it shows that their attempt to suppress Tommy Robinson and his valiant crusade to just go stand there and say there's a trial of a reported pedophile ring going on in there, which is true. And the fact that they doubled down with a D notice saying, don't report, we arrested him, is incredible and shows the type of scum. You look at Theresa May, she's not a conservative. She looks like she's on 55 Valium. She looks like she can hardly talk. She's so whacked out of her brain. And they put these weak little scumbags up there to control everybody. But what America needs is a Donald Trump. What England needs is a Winston Churchill. What you need to do is be more like Tommy Robinson, and I know a lot of you have already done that, and get aggressive peacefully in the info war and realize when you put a bumper sticker up, or you share links, or you call into C-SPAN, or you financially support InfoWars, you are funding the tip of the spear. We have 50% off on a bunch of our best-selling items, free shipping right now. Very rare sale for Memorial Day, InfoWarsStore.com. These are great products you really need. So it's a win-win. You get great products, whether it's water filtration, air filtration, the supplements. I mean, these are amongst the best. We know we're targets for the testing and everything else anyways. Plus, I want it to work for you great. Don't buy your supplements from Bezos, Whole Foods, or Amazon. Buy it from InfoWarsStore.com. Free shipping on everything there. Brain Force, 50% off. Real Red Pill Plus now with energy. Real Red Pill Standard. BioTrue Selenium X2. It's all there. InfoWarsStore.com. 50% off. Take advantage of that, and please pray for us. And again, we don't know where Tommy Robinson is. He was grabbed for reporting on a secret pedophile trial, just like the clerk. Oh, search engine this. The court clerk in Australia was arrested for reading the charges. The court clerk's job is to read the charges. That's going to be such a kangaroo court of those 100 kidnapped kids by the deputy pope that this is the old British Empire style of evil, putting the Australians down, putting the Brits down. It's not a British conspiracy. It's a globalist model that used the British Empire, then the American Empire, now the EU Empire, that set up the Chinese because the Chinese communists are so evil and so soulless to take over the whole ball of wax. There it is. Australian court staffer fired. That's AP. That's the whitewash. They were arrested first for reading cardinal charges. See? But there's still some instinct of reporting the news, even to control corporate press, so they don't know what to do. And there's so many people in the corporate press that want to tell the truth, but don't want to get fired. It's like they're Winston Smith in 1984, and they want to tell the truth, they're not allowed to. And there's InfoWars trying to support Tommy, trying to support Veritas, trying to support guys from Dev Group and others that are trying to get the intel and the private funding to make films about the pedophile busts that are going on. And we funded that, $100,000. That's more money than I put in my children's college and savings funds in years. People think I have all this money. I've made money to put it back in. I built InfoWars. For some reason, can't find somebody to build us a new high-tech site. We have News Wars, a few others that look good, but we have the video, we have the audio, we have that. We're reaching tens of millions every few days now. But man, they are trying to shut us down. And so when you don't care about the ridicule and don't care about the attack, and you go past the little bots that attack you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and when you speak out or at the town hall or to your family, that breaks the will of the bullies that have found the weak people out there to brainwash and then to wind up against us. We've got to go through that. I go out in town in Seattle and in LA and in San Francisco and in downtown Austin. It's just as bad. And I sit there proudly, and I'll have 20 people come over there to listeners, black, white, young, old, straight, gay, Christian, you name it. And maybe one person then runs over and says, F you, I'm going to kill you. But most people won't do that because they don't want that to happen. You don't have to worry. You're not going to be Alex Jones. You're not going to have Hillary Clinton come after you. You just got to get out of your comfort zone, and we'll break the back. And they put people in this peer pressure, social intimidation thing in China and in England and in Germany, with societal guilt and brainwashing. Brits think they ran Hitler. America thinks they're Hitler. We beat Hitler with all this political correctness. They think they're guilty. You got to get past us and say, I haven't done anything wrong. How dare you always get in my face and tell me how bad I am, you damn corrupt bureaucrat? Because they're the ones involved in all the corruption. So keep talking about what they're doing. Keep exposing it. God bless all our veterans and others that fought for liberty. Memorial Day coming up, but history's happening now, and you can tell the globalists are scared. They use Facebook, YouTube, Twitter to fund radical Muslims in the Arab Spring to overthrow our allies and put radical Muslims in power and blow up churches by the hundreds and persecute, put women into sex slavery. But now Google, Facebook, Twitter, they're working overtime. Can we go to InfoWars or NewsWars.com? Do we even get this video posted up there that's live right now? Let's go to InfoWars and see if it's there. Because the real headline is people are climbing the fences. Thousands and thousands are in the streets. The live feeds are getting cut off by Google, YouTube, and Twitter. We don't even know what's going on in England right now. That's the big news. Here, let's refresh the search engine. Let's go to a third-party one. Because you can see how they got us all involved in these search engines so we wouldn't learn to search the web ourselves. I'm not saying they're a bad thing, but the way they've been tailored now, we have to go through them. It's like not knowing math, having to use a calculator. It's like not knowing how to go pick a girl up so you have a sex doll. Go to Bing, type in Tommy Robinson, and let's put it on screen. Because last time I said do that, we learned they were climbing the fences till they took it down. And again, Bing's not perfect, but Google is gone. It is total censorship, total control. You might as well go to a communist Chinese censorship deal. So they ordered the top story to be a glass of beer being spilled. History's happening. They're telling you about a glass of beer. A journalist has disappeared for exposing giant pedophile rings, and the government has ordered that it not be researched. And we're going to sit there and take it. These people working for these news outlets, these people working for the globalists, they'll do anything by increment, by successive approximation. This is the most important thing I've said today. They will follow any order until they're lining us up, shooting us in the back of the heads. But thank God we've got a Second Amendment. Never give it up. They've created all this immorality to get the type of scum they need, the heartless trash, to run our lives, persecute us, and control our lives. Before their complete AI takeover in their own words. But Elon Musk is warning about it. God bless him. Talking about how the mainstream media is a bunch of liars and deceivers and lifetime editors and lifetime censors. But nobody can stop the people power. You emailing links to our videos, emailing links to our articles. Nothing can stop you shooting a video on YouTube or Facebook. So what if they censor that? It'll give them 1,000 more to censor. No, they can't stop you if you decide to live and decide to stand up and decide to say no. And it doesn't mean you'll be perfect when you do it, but it means you'll be real and organic and not cookie cutter. So I say speak out. I say use your people power to not be spectators, but to be actual activists in the real fight. We're turning the tide everywhere. We got a lot of friends in government, a lot of friends in corporations, but they've been persecuted for what they've done. The FBI just want to go public about the whole fake Russiagate. That's starting to happen. But some of us have got to lead by example up front, and Tommy Robinson's doing that, and we're all Tommy Robinson. But just like they're attacking him, they're attacking us because InfoWars is the tip of the spear. I want to thank Marcos. I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Wes that came up to help. I want to thank everybody else. I'm going to shut this down for now. More coverage at Infowars.com. I want to thank Kit Daniels, other writers there. And just please get these articles and information out because history is happening. Secret arrest of reporters, orders for the media not to report on it. Thousands show up spontaneously, climb the gates. Now news blackout, news censorship. This is like Tiananmen Square or something, except they were smart and didn't kill the protesters yet. But it's nighttime. So we're going to go out with about 5 minutes of little snips of what's happening and more live reports coming up tonight, Infowars.com, and tomorrow, NewsWars.com, NewsWars.com. Remember, they're censoring Infowars on Twitter and Facebook, so spread NewsWars.com articles. God bless you all. History's happening.
Due to violence, and I don't think
we're trying to make it as viral as possible. We want as many people
as utterly scared of it as we seem to be.
Well, I have a program about it. I know Senator Shore, I presume. Stephen
the Muslim community would stop making fun. I completely agree, you're right.
But one other thing I'll say is
I need to be civilized, okay, and not make that the norm, because then the police can say, okay, if people are going to use real bullets, I can do it.
One other thing I'll say as well is that while I
go on Twitter and do it, and then, tweet hashtag
but if, let's say, Owen Jones got it.